All right, let's move this out of the way. What the heck?
New information. This flash flood warning has been updated.
1 second. Why did it? Why is it not letting me into? 1 second. It's so weird. It never logs me out of TikTok Studio. Hopefully it didn't mess up my screens. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, I guess we're good. I guess. Hopefully. All right, 1 second. Something's always got to go wrong every time. I guess it must have been an update to TikTok Studio. I'll fix this. Go live there. Get rid of the black screen. Let's fix the black screen problem. All right. Got tornado warnings. Possibly here, moving towards Howard. Eastern South Dakota. What's going on up here? This one looks like a little bit better of a couplet right in here. This is moving east towards Draper and Park Falls. Park Falls, Phillips, and well, specifically Park Falls and Fifield right now, Wisconsin.
New information. This considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
This looks windy right here. What's our warning? 70 miles per hour. Not surprised. Not surprised. Let's make sure all my other scenes are set up correctly. Okay, that's kind of correct. No, that's not correct. There we go. Alright. Okay, so I messed with some of my screens. That's okay though. Interesting.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Alright, there we go. And let's check on Pivotal. That's looking correct. Alright, much better. Much better. Check, 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 check. Check, check it, check, check. You guys hear me? How does it look for Buttermut, Wisconsin? What's going on, Rochelle? All right. Buttermilk, Wisconsin. Buttermut. Severe thunderstorm warning. You're just to the north of this tornado warning. Although, you know, there's two areas of rotation here. Let's pause this. There's two areas of rotation here. There's one here and there's one here as well. So I'd get in a safe spot if you're in. Oh, it's butternut. Butternut makes way more sense. I get in a safe space. I think you're going to be good. I think it's going to pass to the south of you, but it's going to be very close. Don't risk it. I'd get in a safe spot until this moves over you. You've got a little bit of time, but these storms are moving at an okay clip. 30 miles per hour, about average. Mezzo Matt. Wait, what are you? You're not streaming, Matt? Were you streaming earlier? We've got a couple tornado warnings. This one doesn't look too threatening, but it's moving towards Howard, South Dakota. I'd take shelter regardless. This one looks slightly more threatening up here. You've got two possible areas of rotation here. I can definitely see rotation in this one on the reflectivity up at the top, and there's a notch. So I actually think that they need to fix this tornado warning because there's clearly a notch in here and a little bit of rotation here, and this tornado warning is for this couplet down here. So they either need to expand this or put another one down. Polygon. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what happens when the kids get sick, everyone gets sick. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. They have Tor Possible down here as well. I don't see much down there right now. You know what I like about weatherwise? Look, watch this. You can just go like this and then go like this. Wait. Oh, I can't be that far out. Wait. Why isn't it working? Okay, never mind, guys. It's not working. Forget I said anything. Did I switch my key bindings? I must have switched my key bindings. Oh, dang it. Oh, I did. I reset my mouse. Yeah. Ray J, what's going on? Just got both kids down for a nap. Perfect timing. Yeah. I know how that feels. Minneapolis, you guys are doing good right now. You got some storms that just moved through. I'm going to be living in, we'll call it Minneapolis, in 2 weeks. I move there in 2 weeks. Just about literally 14 days. Well, I think August 1st. I'm excited. But yeah, you guys just had these storms move through. They're moving out. Not much behind it right now. So you could get some thunder showers later in the night, but not expected to be too bad. Yeah, I mean, western Minnesota, you could get some strong storms, but these are going to kind of dissipate as they move east. I don't expect you guys out here to see much more. I do want to look up here again at this tour because you can see, like I said, we have kind of two. This one, there's definitely more spin to. So, like I said, Butternut, you should probably get in a safe spot to be, just to be precautious. This one's not looking like much. But let's look at the reflectivity. Sometimes you can actually see a good spin in the reflectivity. I'm so mad that thing's not working. Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of spin right here. There's a little bit of spin right where it has actually that arrow's in the right spot. Not too much. I don't think there's anything on the ground, but be careful if you're in this area. Be aware of that. How will the weather be in Panama, Florida next week? I really want to look at the new hurricane models, by the way.
Warning, a new special marine warning.
Yeah. Thanks, Abby. I'm not gonna. I'll do this without doxing myself. I'm moving. I'll give a big circle. I'm moving in this area. In this area to south of the city, southwest of the city. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm working for the same company. They just they gave me they really needed my position in Minneapolis, and they're like, we'll give you a big raise. I applied and I was like, okay.
New information.
So it's pretty cool. It's where my wife's from. She knows all about Minnesota. I don't know anything about Minnesota. Well, actually, I know a decent amount. I have some family from Minnesota. I've also been there a bunch, but I wasn't born. I didn't grow up in Minnesota, so just from visiting. But I do love Minnesota. Yeah, Mercer, Minnesota is awesome. Oh no, okay. Yeah, isn't it like after you get down here past like Lakeville? What's funny, it says Farmington, because I was gonna say, isn't like below here, doesn't it really go to like a lot more kind of like wide open farmlands, smaller towns kind of? Because I know like this is Minneapolis Metro. Or actually probably a little bit bigger than that. Probably like this. Yeah, much more rural. That's the word I was looking for, rural. Let's get back in here. Just check on our tornado warnings real quick. Still spin here. Park Falls getting a safe spot. Butternut getting a safe spot. Fifth Field, if that's how you pronounce it, get in a safe spot. These are headed towards you. It's not looking too dangerous, but there's possible tor on the ground there. They did lift this tornado warning, not surprised. We do have 70+ mile per hour observed wind gusts here. Again, not surprised. This is what we call a bow echo. Once you get that shape, these are fast moving storms and they'll start to curve like that. It's a good indicator of high winds. So definitely strong winds heading out towards, this is in southeastern South Dakota, Yankton, Parker, Sioux Falls, Vermilion, Hardington Center, Nebraska. These storms are going to make their way towards Omaha later. You can see when we move to this radar, there's some good storms out here too. They're going to start to dissipate a little bit as they approach Omaha. That's why if we take a look at where the the enhanced and slight begin to fall off as we move farther out east, but it could be an issue late into the night. 11 p.m. midnight. What's going on, Michael? What's going on? Just joined. Here's our storms right now. Here is our storms. So pretty far away from Omaha still. Sioux City, a couple hours, you could have some pretty strong storms. Possibility of some damaging winds through Sioux Falls, Sioux City. We do still have an active tornado warning up here in Wisconsin. Park Falls, Fifth Field, Butternut, like I said. Not the craziest circulation I've ever seen. Not the most threatening tornado warning I've ever seen, but there is possibly a tornado embedded in there, so you should be in a safe spot. We do have some other severe thunderstorm warnings and stuff going on around the country. What do we have? 40% chance of tropical development in the next 2 days. Here's our storm. All right, I'm gonna see if I can spot the center of this low. I need to go to satellite to spot the center of this low, not this. Let's do this. Oops. Wow, look at this convection blowing up right here. I think the low's right here. I think this is where the center of the circulation is. Yeah, I think that's the center of circulation. Yeah, that's the center of circulation right there. And it actually looks like it's strengthening a lot right now. Look at that big bubble up of convection as we move into the evening. Oh my gosh. That's actually really interesting. I'm really interested to see what happens. Waters up here are well above average, and it's not experiencing a ton of shear right now. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens overnight. Look at that moisture. 1 second, guys. I'm going to move back up. Just let me see this real quick. Like, look at this this explosion of. Oh my gosh.
New information. This flash flood.
We might see. I know most models are keeping this as a depression, not even a tropical storm, but based on the look of what we're seeing happening up here, we might get a little something surprising in the morning. I'm being serious. This is kind of a significant development up there because I believe that is the center of the low as well. Sometimes if they can get wrapped up, they can force dry air out and they can start to fan. These high pressures can start to fan out, and that's when you get rapid intensification. I don't think we're gonna get rapid intensification, but I think we could get much faster intensification than what's being projected. If I'm a betting, honestly, after seeing this, I'm thinking maybe it's a tropical storm, but it would have to take a farther southerly track. If this thing starts to float north and has a part of its outer bands interacting with land, first of all, that land friction is going to pull the storm inland, and it's going to dissipate, but it's also harder to force dry air out when you have some of those outer bands interacting with land. If this thing can drift a little bit to the south tonight, I think we could see some pretty fast strengthening, a little faster than the models are expecting. All right, because yeah, these waters are very, very warm, and there's just no shear on that storm right now, other than the shear it's creating. Let me just check out here real quick, and I'll get back to answering questions. Yeah, these slow moving storms out here, potentially large hail in here though. I know this is saying radar indicated 1.25 inch. I think it could be bigger. There's some pretty high cloud tops out here, not really near anything, just to the south and east of Riverton, Wyoming, and then you got a southeastern Idaho, Some scattered showers, not really much though. Average severe thunderstorm warning up there. Actually, they do think there's some gusty conditions in here. Oh yeah, that's a bad satellite. That's the issue. With no, these satellites can't see this area very good. Georgetown, Soda Springs, Grace, Lava Hot Springs. If you're anywhere near this, Preston, there are 70 plus mile per hour gusts being recorded in that area, as well as up here towards Blackfoot, American Falls, in that region. There's not really a tower close to these. That's why the radar is. That's why it's hard to tell on that radar. All right, let me get back to answering questions. What's going on, Ferry? Does it have a chance of hitting Texas? This small chance. There's one or two models out of like the 18 that are plotting, the spaghetti models that kind of floated out here towards Houston. But I'm telling you, the majority go like this. You have like 16 like this, and you have like 2 stragglers. You know, the consensus is it's gonna move up into the north like this. So small chance, very small chance it moves into Houston. Not impossible though. There's a little bit of a question mark on how it interacts with this our jet up here and our high pressure out here to the east. That's gonna want to pull it. So a little bit of a question mark there. Tampa's good. You guys are going to continue to get a lot of rainfall. You can see these showers continuing to funnel in back here. You're getting moisture pulled over Florida, and it's interacting with the, all of this moisture out. You're getting moisture. Sorry. You have winds pulling in moisture across the Gulf, interacting with even warmer water, warmer air out here. So you're getting a lot of flare-ups in Florida right now.
New information.
Just a lot of instability. Northeast side of the state look like tonight? Northeast side. Well, look at the whole country right now. Look at this Okay, look at this over the last 30 frames. You see what happens? That huge explosion of convection here and here. Pretty crazy looking. Northeast part of Wyoming. We can go into Radar Omega and take a look at what the models look like for tonight. Let's go into HRRR. And let's take a look at, we'll go to 23Z. So northeastern Wyoming, if we were to take a look at how this is expected to, oh, this is where my brother played hockey. Casper, Wyoming. All right. He lived there for a while. So these storms look like they're going to continue to develop and push off east. You could get some strengthening of storms pushing into northeastern and east central Wyoming tonight, according to the latest HRRR that just came out. So everyone from Sundance, Gillette, Moorcroft, Newcastle, Wright, Douglas, you could see some strong storms pushing in pretty late tonight. Potentially as late as, I guess your time, that'd be 11, 12. Yeah, you could. These storms are going to strengthen out there. At least that's what the latest HRRR thinks. You can see this kind of bow echo potentially growing as it pushes out towards Fremont, Lincoln, and Omaha. On the latest HRRR, we're talking 4 to 5 hours out, and then moving through Omaha. So that could be a little bit, that could be not so great. Then moving into Des Moines potentially early in the morning, 4 a.m. Up here, okay, we got an extended tornado warning. This is the one that I've been saying that they should put down because there's two separate there was two separate rotations. Let's take a look at that real quick, and then I'll get back to questions. Okay. Here we go. This is the one I told you I was more worried about, and it's that's why we said just to be safe, Butternut, get to a safe spot. This is there's potentially, still doesn't look that organized, but there still is potentially a tornado on the ground, or a tornado trying to drop on the ground. That's going to go right through Butternut and Holt's Landing, Wisconsin. So get into a safe spot. And Park Falls, Fiffield, and Butternut, get into a safe spot right now. You don't have very long. 5-10 minutes. Again, I don't suspect there's a very strong damaging tornado on the ground, but it's possible. The radar could be missing it. There's definitely still rotation in this cell, so you can clearly see the rotation still, so don't take any chances. Bottom floor of your home, interior of your home, away from windows and a closet is best. Andy, I appreciate you. Dusty, Confused, Blum, Marissa. Thank you, guys. Kimi Nebraska gonna get hit badly. Kearney. I said Kimi. I don't have my glasses on. I need to put them on. Kearney, Nebraska tonight. You do have some storms moving out towards your direction. Take a look. Let's take a look at the latest model run down there. Where am I? Potentially strong storms moving in to your area around, we'll say, between 10 and 12 o'clock tonight. 10 p.m. and 12 o'clock. Likely going to be mainly a wind threat, but there is still going to be the chance for some nocturnal tornadoes there. So just make sure you have a way to get weather alerts. High winds are likely. Not necessarily exactly where you live, but in the region, in the Kearney region. So it's possible. The 3-month woke up. Yeah. My daughter's almost 3 months. She's 3 months in a week or two. Cincinnati? You mean Southwest Ohio? I know where Cincinnati is. Yeah, thunder showers tonight. Nothing too bad. Nothing really. Not expecting too much severe weather there tonight. Here's our composite. Here's what's going on around the country. Some decent thunder showers moving through portions of Illinois, Indiana, and western Kentucky. We've got some nice thunder showers. I say thunder showers when they're not expected to be really severe. North Carolina, Virginia, we've got a bunch of bad weather down here in the southeast. Florida, southwest or southern Georgia, southeastern Alabama. Nice storms moving through eastern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, eastern South Dakota, north central Nebraska. These are pushing out east. These are pushing out to the south and east like this. You're going to see storms developing more and more here in Wyoming, pushing out to the east tonight and potentially getting more severe. And we've obviously got a tiny bit of a severe threat down here in the Dallas-Fort Worth region. Let's see what's going on down here with this severe storm. Not too threatening. Here's our latest outlook, categorical for tonight. Oh, I need to put that down. Sorry. There you go. I had the wrong screen on. But yeah, this is this stuff's moving out east. It will through the night. Southeast, east. Central Florida, you got some nice storms flaring up, and these are going to continue to kind of trail out. So these are going to continue to flow. You've got a nice kind of pocket of convection just spawning these and not moving. If we take a look at the satellite, you can see this a little bit better.
This severe thunderstorm warning
You can see that. These bands, we're getting banding convection right over Orlando. So you could see a lot of rainfall tonight. You could see some surprising flash flooding potentially. Okay, appreciate that. My night's going pretty well. Hope yours is going well too. Clearwater, Florida tomorrow. We can take a look at our outlook tomorrow. You guys are likely going to get a lot of rain, okay? Thunderstorm every single day. Thunderstorms are being projected for you guys. I'll take a look at the... I'm going to have to look at the 18Z. We'll take a look at the NAM for tomorrow. NAM 3K. What's the NAM 3K think's going to go down tomorrow? Here's Clearwater. Showers potentially all day. And then the next day, again. And then the next day, again. Tons of tropical moisture. I mean, I've been going over the southeast moisture for a while. Like, the easiest way to show you is multi-day. Let's just look at 1 to 5 day precipitation. So this is actually shifting out now. But you still see a decent amount of rainfall in these areas.
New information. This flash flood
Once you get to like the push it to the light blues and purples, pretty decent amount of rainfall. Really the purples. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Gulfport, Pensacola, Mobile, get ready. That's a lot of rainfall. All right, what's going on here? Let's check on our tornadoes, our potential tornadoes. Not looking the most threatening. Still potentially something down here.
This flash flood warning.
I think they may end up lifting this. I'm not seeing a ton of rotation anymore, but still, I'd just stay in a safe spot for a little bit longer. Butternut, Park Falls, and Fiffield,
This severe
Wisconsin.
thunderstorm warning has been updated.
This is live right now, yes. Damaging windstorms moving out towards Sioux Falls, Sioux City, Vermilion, Canton, Parker, everything in between. Again, as we get late into the night, as we approach midnight, these storms are going to continue. These are going to be way farther out east here, pushing through Omaha and then eventually Des Moines through the morning hours. This is not weather modification. This is just weather. This is the same weather that's been happening since before humans existed. There were hurricanes before humans existed. There were severe thunderstorms before humans existed. There were blizzards. There were floods. There were earthquakes. There were volcanoes. There were catastrophic tsunamis. All of these things existed before humans. So unless animals were modifying the weather back then, I don't know who was. All right, trolls. Yeah, I went to Florida State for meteorology for 3 years. Didn't end up finishing my degree. Personal stuff happened, but I continued to study my whole life. I mean, I've been studying meteorology since I was little. I grew up with my uncle as a meteorologist, so I always wanted to be a meteorologist. Things happen. Plan on finishing my degree. We'll have to see. I have 2 little kids and 2 jobs right now, so it's kind of about timing. I've got about a year left to get that piece of paper. So we'll have to see when I can finish it. Hopefully sooner than later. Should be much easier to finish that off with that. I mean, I've been with everything I know now. Yeah. The North, all these states down here over the next few, like this whole area is gonna get soaked over the next few days. I'm concerned about flooding along this entire coast, flash flooding. Yeah, you know, I was interested in marine biology for a little bit too, but I think the study of the atmosphere is just, it's a little more complex, which is why I think it's a little more interesting. Not that marine biology isn't complex, because it's pretty dang complex. They both are. Are you? Am I concerned for St. Louis this week? The 16th is my birthday. Well. Oh, so like tomorrow? St. Louis? Let's take a look at our severe weather threat tomorrow. A little bit of marginal in northern St. Louis. Not much. Day 3, not much. I mean, we could take a look at the let's take a look at the next few days. If we take a look at the NAM 3K, we can even take a look at the NAM 12K for St. Louis over the next few days. Here's tomorrow. Okay, looking pretty dry throughout most of the day. Maybe you get some rain showers late morning, early afternoon, and then possibly late into the evening. Doesn't look too bad though. But as you get into the 17th, so what's that, Thursday? Some decent rain showers moving through that afternoon. There's going to continue to be the threat of rain. Nothing looks severe over the next few days. Just rain showers off and on. No torrential downpours or anything like that. Nothing likely severe. Kind of average summer weather, if I'm being honest. All right, well, weather boy, talk about Arizona. Let's see what's going on in Arizona. Oh, you actually have some showers in Arizona. It's so funny because they're always moving in weird directions and so slow, because you never have like any sort of troughing, any sort of jet punching through here, because you just don't have the conditions to. Everything's so stationary. You got a severe thunderstorm warning over here down near Tucson. It's your average though, average severe thunderstorm warning. Outlooks, you guys are expected to have general thunderstorms the next 3 days straight. I mean, that's kind of rare for Arizona. So decent amount of rainfall, chance for severe thunderstorms over the next few days. That's pretty good. Multi-day, if we were to look at the next 3 days of precipitation, not bad for a desert. And this is not a ton, maybe max an inch of rain, but it's not bad. You guys have been pretty dry. I think they're going to drop this. Yeah, the radar here is really bad, though, so I'm not sure. Let me see if I can switch up here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Still possibly rotation just to the north of Park Falls. A little bit hard to tell. A little bit right to the north of Park Falls, moving off into the east in Wisconsin. How's Minnesota next week? All the way into next week? We can take a look at pivotal weather. Let's take a look. Alrighty. So, well, here we'll take a look at the 12Z Euro. What's happening up here as we get into next Monday? So, could be an active week next week for Minnesota. Let's take a look at our jet stream. What's it doing here as we get into Monday? See that? I think we could get multiple days of severe weather potential next week in Minnesota, especially on Wednesday. Let's look at our instability on Wednesday. Look at that. That's Tuesday. Oh my gosh, that's Wednesday. That's Tuesday. Oh, they shifted this up. This is Tuesday night. I'm going to be... Oh, no. My flight leaves Tuesday morning. Okay, that's good. Thank God. This is crazy looking. Especially for... This would be approaching late June. Or July, sorry. It's a lot of instability. 8,000 joules per kilogram. Tons of instability. Wow. Yeah. You guys could see... especially I'd say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even into Thursday, some bad weather up there in Minnesota. I'd say Tuesday and Wednesday look like they could be the most severe. It's going to be an active week. You can literally just tell by looking at your jet what's going to be an active area. So let's look at the low level jet here. You see that going through southern Minnesota Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you get another jet here for, Thursday, Friday. Big upper level low that's going. Oh, this could be even worse depending on how this. If we were to see, this is pretty far out. This is a big if, but if this upper level low forms right here, and you've got this massive tail, this could be a tour day for Minneapolis as well, and the surrounding region, Wisconsin and potentially Iowa, Nebraska. So it looks very active next week. Kind of Tuesday to Friday, we're gonna have to watch this whole region. I think right in here. Potentially down into Texas, but we'll see. Thanks for pointing that out. I hadn't seen those new runs. Is AccuWeather actually accurate? Well, look, every single radar app, every single weather app, every single one, it chooses models. It chooses weather models to pull from. So it's either using the Euro for long range outlooks or the GFS for long range outlooks, probably just one of those. And then for short range, it's using the NAM or it's using the HER or it's using the Rufus, but they're all looking at the same data. So it's really just like, you got to figure out like a lot of what, like the Apple weather app is terrible. I don't know what models it's pulling from, but it's so inaccurate all the time. It's not that bad with temperatures, but it's pretty bad with precipitation. AccuWeather's not bad though. I think AccuWeather's not bad. A lot of red and purple over you. What, are you up there near Park Falls? Let's check out our most damaging storms we have out here right now. Still a Tor warning up here. Moving out into the middle of nowhere. Luckily right now I can't even see a city name. But it's out here in Hay Creek, Hoffman, Lake State wildlife area. But it looks like it's falling apart. Okay, so let's take a look at our storms right now. Let's go to our map. Here's all of our rainfall. going on around the U.S. You know where you live. Let's take a look here. So do we have any considerable thunderstorms right now? We do. We've got a couple. South Dakota, Idaho. South Dakota and Idaho. So we've got this one right here. 70-mile-per-hour winds. Tor possible. Let's check if there's a tor in here. Let's check if we have any significant rotation. Let's try and do. I'm not seeing anything right now, but there's rotation here, so just be careful if you're out here, Parker, Sioux. If you're out here between, Crooks, Sioux Falls, Lenox, Beresford, Vermilion, potential rotation in there. Idaho, you've got a severe thunderstorm, a considerable threat as well. This radar's just not picking it up. Interesting. This is going to expire, I think. New severe thunderstorm warning out here in Wyoming. Large hail possible. Not really near anyone. Oklahoma. You got a little severe thunderstorm warning down here, but other than that, there's not much going on in Oklahoma. Look at that. Oklahoma's pretty clear tonight. Yeah, I was just talking about what do I think depression crossing Florida will do. I was just talking about that. We're having a huge above average explosion of moisture right now, or of convection. Let me take the smoothing off. Put it like that. We're having a big explosion of convection right now across up here near the Big Bend of Florida. And that's a good sign that it's really trying to intensify quickly. I don't think we're going to see rapid intensification up here. First of all, the waters are very shallow. So even though they're warm, that heat is used up very quick. Upwelling happens very quick. So these waters cool off much quicker than the waters out here do. So it can't draw energy from there as much. Once it's over this for too long, it's going to run out of fuel.
New information.
It is moving though.
Thunderstorm warning has been updated.
But these waters are very warm out ahead of it. I think the center of this thing right now is here. And if this thing can drift a little bit to the south, get into some deeper water, this is all very warm. And it still has practically no wind shear interference. You can see some of these storms beginning to fan off, some of these cloud tops. Remember, a hurricane or tropical cyclone is a low pressure with a massive high pressure around it. So you want to see, you're going to have moisture being pulled up and condensing in the center of the low and then spreading out and fanning off across the high pressure. So, you can tell there's not much shear on this because you can really see some nice clouds out around this. And this convection is really blowing up quickly here over the warm water. So it's looking pretty well put together. There's some shear down here. There's some shear out ahead of it, but it's not affecting it. It's looking... Well, let's take a look at the latest models. I don't think we... Well, let's take a look. $93L. By the way, if the letter in these, you can't see. 93L, 96W, 90S invest. The W, the L, and the S, the letters tell you what portion, what ocean it's in and what portion of the ocean it's in. So this is a 93L. Here is our storm. Let's get this to the center of the screen, please. Whatever. Looking pretty good. Some land interaction, though. Let's go back here and let's take a look at... Yeah, it's a little far to the north. See, they think the low's still over land. I think the eye... Just like a tornado can recycle and drop... Like, it can move where the center of the tornado is. The hurricanes will do it, too. And I actually think the lows will actually over water out here. If it is, these models are going to be wrong and they're going to have to adjust. They're going to have to adjust for strength and they're going to have to adjust for path. This is 24 hours out. This is 48 hours out. So they're expecting it to move into potentially Louisiana, southern Mississippi within 2 days. Taking a look at the latest strength modeling. Yep. Kind of as I suspected. We've got more. We've got about half of them now, bringing this up into a tropical storm. whereas we really only had a couple trying to touch it earlier. So, but again, if they relocate the center of this potentially down to the south here, where I think it is, we might, there's not, I wouldn't be really worried, but I don't think you can count out the potential for a hurricane, like a low level weak category 1 hurricane. But again, they'd have to, if I'm right and that low is shifted, it would have to just stay over water a little bit longer. It may have time to intensify into a hurricane. Not expected to be any sort of catastrophic event down here, but it could cause some serious flooding. If we do get to Cat 1 strength, it could cause some wind damage. Yes.
New information.
If you become a member on YouTube or sub on Discord, it's just $2.99 a month, $2.99 a month. You get access, sub on TikTok or become a member on YouTube. You get access to the Discord, and we're in there every day. It's a Discord that updates everything from hurricanes to, I mean, literally everything weather. It's updated every single day. So it's cool. We're all talking in there, chatting. I'll let you guys know when I'm coming online, try to answer questions offline. So just a good way to support the channel. Yeah, let's get back here. We can take a look at what's happening real quick. I know people have questions about some of the severe weather happening up here. Well, first of all, Wisconsin, they dropped that tornado warning, which is good, as we thought. It wasn't seeing much up there, but strong winds still pushing out, pushing across northern Wisconsin. Sorry, let me change the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Strong storm still moving across northern Wisconsin. Southeastern South Dakota, we do have considerable damage threat winds here. I think they might even extend that down here to the south, but northeastern Nebraska all the way up through southeastern South Dakota, we've got potential for some small hail, 70+ mile per hour gusts. So power outages could be a thing from Sioux Falls all the way down to Vermilion, Hardington. And then down here, North Platte up to your north, you can see we still have a lot of rain here. These storms are expected to continue to push off into the south and east. If we do take a look at our latest HRRR model, the most updated one, we're going to 23Z. Here we go. As we move through the night, ready? This is 8 Central, 9 Central, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So you guys can see how that moves. So this is over kind of the next 6 hours right here. Moving across Nebraska into Omaha with some pretty strong winds still. You know, most of Minnesota's not supposed to, you're really not gonna see much more in Minnesota tonight. You could see a little bit down here to the south central region, but western Minnesota, I don't think you're gonna get thunder showers again in Minneapolis potentially tonight, but I don't think any severe thunderstorms. I have to add, who am I supposed to add as a mod? I'm supposed to add someone as a mod. Is it Jasmine? Wait, Jasmine, are you mod? Yeah, I remembered. Okay. Macy, Nebraska. Let's take a look. Is this where Macy's was invented? No, too small. Oh, that's Indiana. Wrong one. Let's check out what's going on here the rest of the night. Macy, Nebraska, you could have some strong to severe thunderstorms moving in at around 11 to 12 tonight. And then you might see some pretty decent thunder showers all the way until about 2 a.m. So for a couple hours. But hey, overnight showers are always nice. A little thunder and lightning. I like a little thunder and lightning at night. Is Orlando okay this week? Orlando's fine. You're going to get a decent amount of rainfall over the next 48 hours, but you're good. That potential tropical system is moving away. I was curious if the spaghetti models had the remnant low moving towards Oklahoma with all that storm chance. I don't think so. You've got a system up here to the north that's likely going to steer it away, but we could take a look at that. Ooh, you know what I just thought of? Since they have it as a, let's go to the H-Wharf, since they have it as an invest now. Okay, H-Wharf, HWRF, Hurricane Weather Research and Forecasting Model. This is a hurricane model, which we love because they're much more accurate. The H-Wharf specifically is pretty accurate with intensification. Here's the H-Wharf, not doing much, but I mean, this looks like maybe a strong tropical depression as it moves into New Orleans. And then you can see it actually gets itself together as it moves inland. Moves up, and then you see the pathing here. This is what the HWRF, which is a pretty good hurricane model, has it doing. Has it basically going like this. You've got systems still moving across the country like this that are going to interact with it, and it's not making it to Oklahoma. Very unlikely. Let's take a look at the HMON. Yeah. Here we go. HMON has the HMON doesn't. What does the HMON have? Oh, the HMON has it. The HMON has it making landfall in Houston, but not really developing into anything. But that's worst case scenario, because if this thing stayed down to the south, it would have time to strengthen. I don't think the HWRF is a much better model. Let's look at our NAM. The Icon has this thing becoming... The Icon the other day had this storm becoming like a Cat 2. Yeah, the NAM agrees into New Orleans. As a weak tropical system. Maybe not even a tropical storm. Latest GFS. I just want to take a look at a couple of these runs. Same thing. Not too impressed. Again, I'm not so sure that the center low pressure is not already over the water, that it didn't move. I'm just saying. And if that's the case, we could see a little bit stronger of a storm than what they're expecting. If that's the case.
A new severe thunderstorm
So they have the
has been issued.
they have the low pressure, which they have the low pressure here right now over land. Now, there is a little bit of rotation back here. I'm not going to lie. But especially before a storm goes through tropical cyclogenesis, the eye can move around all over the place. You can have an eye here when you go to bed, and then it could shift like here while it's developing. Stuff gets moved around until it goes through tropical cyclogenesis and closes off at least somewhat the eye. The eye can move around, just like when you have a tornado. Sometimes it's going like this, and then it recycles, and then somehow it pops up over here, and you're like, whoa. Same thing happens with hurricanes, and I think there's a chance it shifted. So we'll see. That'd be big. That'd be a big deal, though.
A new flash flood warning has been
It's not a tropical storm. It's an invest right now. It's likely to be. I think it's likely to become a tropical depression, which is the step before a tropical storm. But you don't get your name until tropical storm. Yeah. There's definitely some banding. It's definitely tropical moisture now. It's what we consider tropical moisture. Yeah, it can cause some banding. Some pretty good banding. It's not expected to be severe. Even worst case scenario, it's not expected to be too severe of a tropical system. Even high end. It's not really going to affect North Georgia much. I mean, most models have this thing moving, maybe becoming a tropical storm, going into New Orleans, getting picked up by some troughing, and then getting shoved up like this. Or like this. And you could cause some flooding issues up here as it moves, as it mixes with some other Gulf moisture and some opposite air boundaries from the north. Could cause some instability, get a lot more convection up there through the Ohio Valley. Could produce some heavy downpours. Jima! Kitty, I appreciate you. Katie, Doublista, Jasmine, Hannah, Kay. Thank you guys. You're in Destin, Florida. How's the weather going to be? Pretty rainy. Pretty rainy tomorrow in Destin, Florida. Let's take a look at your here's your 2-day rainfall. So isn't Destin, Florida like right out here? Yeah, there it is. So you're expected somewhere between you could get locally 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in the next 48 hours in Destin. Not out of the question. Let's take a look. Here's what the HER model thinks for up here, Panhandle. Rain showers, rain showers, more rain showers, more rain showers, more rain showers. A lot of scattered, isolated showers throughout the day, throughout the next 2 days. I don't think, still don't think we're gonna get a hurricane out of this thing. It's not impossible though. I think if the eye did shift and it's right here, we could get a hurricane. If not, tropical storm's the most we'll see out of it. And there are some models that want to pull this thing into Houston, but it's very, very small chance. Most have the high pressure tugging on it and then troughing from the northwest, funneling it back up and moving it back up into the north and east. Atlanta's not expected to, let's look at the 5-day Atlanta or Georgia rainfall. Not much rainfall in Georgia. I mean, these greens, we're talking like 1/10 of an inch. So not much rainfall. Severe weather over the next few days. General thunderstorms are possible all across it. I mean, over most of the states. Look at this. Lots of general thunderstorms. So nothing too significant to talk about in Atlanta over the next couple days. Just summer storms. Anything happening for Long Island this week? We've been talking about Friday for a while. Part of me wants to pull up CSU and see what it sees for Friday. Let's see. Hey, load. Let's go here. It's pulled off a little bit. Let's go here. I still think there's some potential for Friday. Let me look at the latest Euro on here for the Northeast.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
We'll see. I mean, we've got some shear. It's nothing too bad. Yeah, nothing too bad. Maybe Saturday. Between Friday and Sunday, there's going to be a chance for some severe weather up along Long Island, but nothing looking too threatening.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
No considerable severe thunderstorm warnings, I don't think right now. Let's see. 60 mile per hour. All general severe thunderstorm warnings right now. So 60 mile per hour winds with small hail. They downgraded this one up here in southeastern South Dakota, 60 mile per hour. So no significant severe weather right now, but a decent amount of severe thunderstorm warnings. All, like I said, general 60 mile per hour gusts possible. These can knock out some power and drop some small hail, but nothing too bad's going on right now. So that's good. This is real interesting. Let me see here. Yeah, Northern Illinois. Yep, 2 out of 5 risk, slight. And it is actually driven by a Tor threat. So generally I say if this is a wind-driven slight risk, it's not too much to worry about. But it's kind of a Tor-driven slight risk. So
This special marine warning
tornado's possible. We'll take a look at the modeling actually, so I can see if this is downtrend or not. 2% tornado risk, not very high, but I'd be paying attention if you're up here, Green Bay, some big cities in here, Madison, Green Bay, Milwaukee, Chicago, obviously, Bloomington. So, and everyone in between. This is going to come with the wind threat and a hail threat. Oh, it's not really a tornado threat without a hail threat. Okay. Typically, you need 2 things for a tornado. You need strong updrafts and you need wind shear. Doesn't matter how much shear you have. If you don't have good updrafts, you're not going to have tornadoes. So typically, you see a hail threat with the tornado threat. I have a feeling that this is glitching. Let me look at something else. You're going to have a hail threat tomorrow. Small hail threat. You're gonna in here. But yeah, Tor driven. Really quickly, I want to actually take a look at that with you, just because some populated areas tomorrow. Let's look at the Rufus. And let's dive in here. Chicago, Milwaukee. Oh, I forgot how to Red Bull.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay. Let's go back to 18Z. So this is for tomorrow. Here it is. Event looks to begin, at least according to the Rufus, could see our first supercells initiating somewhere around. This is the 18Z. So 1 p.m. 2, 3, 4. I'm talking Central Time. 5. So we could have this is an afternoon threat for most of Wisconsin. And as we get into the early evening, these storms begin to approach Chicago. So 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. These storms begin to approach Chicago. Let's take a look at a few things here. SIG-TOR. There it is. Take a look. Wednesday. A little bit of SIG-TOR down here. Not much. This is for tomorrow. Cape's all right. There is definitely a little bit of rotation at the surface. There's your Tor possible hazard. Like a 1.5 effective layer SIG-TOR param. Southwesterly flow, that's good for tornado development. 125 SRH isn't terrible. 22 knot shear at the surface isn't terrible. It's not terrible. I don't think we get any long track damaging significant tornadoes. I think this could pop out 2 or 3 weak tornadoes tomorrow based on the Rufus, but there's a couple other models I want to look at, but I want to keep covering everything else. Yeah, instability's not doing anything crazy. What's our lapse rates? Oh, the lapse rates are actually good, especially near Chicago. That could change things. Lapse rates are impressive near Chicago, so we'll have to watch that area. That could be a little bit surprising. NAM 3K.
New information.
Lapse rates are what's the best way to lapse rate describes how rapidly the temperature changes with altitude. And if it changes rapidly, if you have a lot of warm air at the surface, and as that warm air rises, it cools very quickly, meaning it gets cold quickly, you're going to have very, very fast, you're going to get some very, very strong thunderstorms out of it. Let's say that. You're going to have a lot of, that moisture is going to condense quickly. And you can really get some strong storms firing off if you have steep lapse rates. If you have weak lapse rates, sometimes they're not even going to punch through the cap. So look at this. Look at this bow echo that the NAM 3K has for tomorrow, moving through western Illinois here. This wouldn't be too great. We could have some damaging wind with this. I mean, the NAM 3K looks like we should have a hatched wind event or hatched wind risk zone out there in northwestern Illinois. So NAM looks pretty impressive as well. Let's take a look really quickly at the latest HER. Ooh, the 00Z is loading. Let me see if it gets far enough for us. I don't know if it does. Kind of, yeah. The latest HER isn't showing much severe weather, but it does show a decent line that if we did have this set up with some of the lapse rates we're looking at, the Cape, helicity, surface shear, again, Not a bad setup for a tornado or two. And what's our low-level jet doing as well? Yeah. Okay. With lapse rates I'm seeing in the Rufus and what the low-level jet wants to do here on the HER, I think Chicago, I think Northeastern Illinois needs to make sure they get updates tomorrow, because I want to see how this progresses, because if I were to pick one area that looks to be the most significant tomorrow at highest risk, I don't mean to circle this, but just based on, well, I mean, honestly, it'd be out here. This area. All right, let's get back to the map. Again, though, it's not like I'm not expecting any sort of tornado outbreak or like major severe weather outbreak, but there's a little bit of potential for a few damaging storms. So, what's going on, B? Laddie NTX. That's your area, Susie? You'll be all right. Keep weather alerts on. Keep updated. You'll be good. You'll be good. It's not going to be like, we're not going to have a massive, I mean, there's going to be some severe weather tomorrow, but it's not I don't expect to see widespread severe thunderstorms. No problem, Susie. I'm from South Plainfield, New Jersey, and we got really bad flash floods yesterday. Yeah, I live out near that area too. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, this is our day 2 categorical with the tour. A little bit of a tour risk out here tomorrow as well. Cheyenne, Torrington, Wyoming. Then you've got Denver down through Colorado Springs and Pueblo. So we'll have to watch out there as well. Sorry, I need to change my screen. There you go.
New information. This flash flood warning has been updated.
It's getting pretty quiet tonight. I'm trying to put out videos in the morning, but the problem is because oh, good news, by the way. I got an email saying that my CPU is on the way. Because for any of you who don't know, my computer's been having tons of issues. For some reason, it doesn't crash when I stream. Again, knock on wood. I don't know why. Anytime I try to make videos, anytime I try to like play games, watch YouTube, and do anything else on my computer, it crashes. So I usually want to get up in the morning and post very early. I'm like 5, 6 in the morning before I go to work. And I record my videos, but my editing software continues to crash no matter what editing software I use. So we'll see if I can get one edited tomorrow early, but luckily my CPU is on the way, and hopefully that fixes my problem permanently and I can get back to a good schedule. We'll see. That's what I actually got in contact with the company Origin that I got my computer from, and their technical team said that's what they think it is. So we'll see, but this is going to be some pretty big developments tomorrow with this bad boy. If the low pressure did shift a little bit and it's over water, we could see this potentially. There's still hurricane potential here. Not very. I'm not going to bet on it, but weak hurricane category 1 is possible if this low is over water now, which I think it is. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a big update tomorrow. In about 24 hours, it's supposed to be kind of centered to the south of Pensacola, and then around 48 hours, it's expected to be around here, and then around 72 hours here. It's going to go really slow once it moves in. This could cause a lot of water. I'm surprised people aren't talking about this already. If it does take this path and it stalls here for 48 hours, flooding in a big portion of southern Mississippi and eastern Louisiana, especially southeastern Louisiana. That's going to be a big, like we need more flooding in this country at this point. I don't expect it to. I think Georgia's going to be fine for the most part. Yeah. What do I think? Snow will start to show up on some models. Well, listen, I'm moving to Minnesota in 2 weeks, and they actually average. Minneapolis averages. It's something like 1 inch or 2 inches of snow a year in October. So something like that. So these states up here start getting some snow late September into October, but we got another few months. I mean, a month and a half, 2 months, we'll see models start to bring in snow in some of the southern or northern states and potentially into the high elevations. Another 2 months. Maybe a little bit less, actually. Whoever prayed for the rain should have been more specific. Minneapolis is fine tonight. You're going to get some more, I call them thunder showers, not thunderstorms, because I don't expect them to be severe, but you're going to get some more thunder showers later into like the morning, 3, 4, 5 a.m., but not expected to be severe. Your severe chances have kind of faded away. So, listen, biggest concern really tonight is, northeastern Wisconsin, you could have some strong winds pushing through. We could have some issues out here in eastern Nebraska tonight. Again, though, these storms are going to be weakening. The farther they push off into the east, they're going to lose a little bit of steam. Omaha, still around midnight tonight, could see some gusty conditions, could see some power outages. And then as we get into the early morning, 3, 4, 5 a.m., we could have some out here towards central Iowa. These storms will be pushing out a little bit farther out here. And could cause a little bit of issues. But if we do take a look at our categorical and we take a look at where our storms are, again, over the next, after about 2 hours, these things are really going to start to lose some strength. The Tor threat is mainly gone. You could see 1 or 2 more tornadoes tonight. I don't really expect it, but this is mainly turning into just a wind event. So if you're inside, you should be fine, but this could cause some power outages as it pushes off into the east. I think around midnight for Omaha. I can double check that though with the latest HRRR model. So here's where we are. That's 12 o'clock. So this would be 12 a.m. because this is in Eastern time. So this would be 12. So 12 to 1, maybe 1 a.m. And if we do have like a bow echo like this, yeah, that's pretty strong winds. Not impossible to get some damaging winds in there. Clovis, New Mexico. Not much going on in New Mexico tonight, but as we get into tomorrow, evening and afternoon, we could get some thunderstorms down there. Let's look at our day 2 outlook. General thunderstorms. I'd go to sleep if I was in Omaha tonight. I think it's mainly a wind event. Just have alerts on. Cleveland, Ohio, you can have some severe weather tomorrow. Actually, the next 2 days, you're actually in a marginal. Could be upgraded to a slight. Here's over the next 24 hours, Cleveland, you could get some potential severe weather moving in tomorrow morning into early afternoon. And then you could have another round, and we'll have to see what this is. An upper level low that's going to be moving up to the northeast, and this is going to potentially drag some more severe weather through you guys on Thursday. So. All right, guys, I'm going to get off. Tomorrow is a really important day. Tomorrow we are going to have our Invest 93L. Again, they call it, it's a 93L because that's what we call invests in this location of the world. We're going to see it over the open water. Very warm waters with very little shear. But very shallow water. The depth of water matters too, because shallow water, it evaporates a lot of that heat much quicker than it does in deep water. So a little bit confusing, but hurricanes are my thing. I think that if this low did shift and it is actually over the open ocean right now, we could actually see intensification a little bit faster than what most of the models think. I have a hunch, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm going to post a video earlier in the morning, and then I'm going to stream after work. Hopefully a little bit earlier next time or tomorrow. But it'll be important because tomorrow we'll be 24 hours away from a landfall. It should be right here, and we're expecting landfall 48 hours around here. So things could change. His assumptions are usually correct. I'd say more often than not, yeah. Tanya, I appreciate you. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for the follows. 37 new followers. I appreciate you guys. YouTube, I appreciate you guys. And I will be back on tomorrow. And I'll be posting updates tomorrow morning. All right, see you guys.